Yo, yo, my sovereigns, what up? This is Boba Fett, uncensored on the internet, with episode 46 of Splinterlands 101. Joining us on the show, co-host Geo of the Geotrix,
Hey guys.
and noticeably absent at the moment, Matt. We're not sure where Matt is. Hopefully he might
Boo.
join us at some point during the show. But to introduce our guest tonight, it's another guest has one of those, random dot connections that we refer to today as synchronicity. And Gio, this is your story. So why don't you introduce Hukk and tell us the story?
Well, first off, welcome, Hukk. Man,
Thank you.
it's so good. So good, man. We were talking on Discord, and I met Hukk actually through the Xbot server, Sila's creation, the Xbot bot.
Yeah.
As opposed to Xbox.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the first thing that came to my mind. I was like, that's brilliant. That's such a good name. And we got talking, and I forget how exactly we came about, but we were just on a subject, on some topic in the chat room there in that server, and we just got talking, and then I found out he was the developer for his own rental bot, which is SplinterSuite. And yeah, we got talking, and he was just a cool guy. So I was like, man, hey, we do a show, there's three of us here. Would you like to come on at some point? And that's where we are today. So, so yeah, Hukk, man, like just introduce yourself a little more in detail, because obviously I probably just butchered all of that. But yeah, welcome again.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I'm hacking Hukk. Fortunately, my camera's not working, so don't have a camera, but no one can see me. But I'm probably the same age as you are. I got into Splinterlands. Well, I first heard about it back in January around 2021, so January of last year. But I didn't play it. I didn't actually buy into it until I think the third day of the SPS airdrop, and then I bought into it. I bought a $200 Lobsterdamus as my first card. Got super into the game, and then I learned one of my friends that got me into this is a big whale. We started seeing the Jones bot pop up, so I got a little bit into botting, and so I was writing scripts to monitor my bot scripts, and that's how I started to learn about the Splinterlands API. And through that, then I started coming up with ideas to do. I ventured into making something like Xbot, but figured nah, I don't want to get into that. What I spent a lot of time doing was managing my rentals, and saw my whale friend spending 4 hours a day managing his rentals. So I started, me and my friends started to build a rental bot service, because my friends wanted to get into Splinterlands and build something to help out. And so we started to build that right as pretty much Gene Pool released. God, I'm totally blanking. Splex. Yeah, I was thinking Archmage, but it was actually Splex.
Yeah.
So he released Splex, and we were like, oh, okay. There's clearly a demand for this as we were building it. So we released SplinterSuite. I think it was July 7th or the 9th. And then we've been iterating on it. We've had a couple major updates. Originally it was not super complex. It was just undercut the lowest market listing. Now it's way more sophisticated than that. And yeah, we just came out with it. Haven't gotten a ton of success compared to Gene Pool with marketing it. But I mean, the performance has been absolutely amazing. And we have a 2.5% fee. It's all on your desktop. You can completely run it on your own. You don't need to sign up to any website. You just download the bot from splintersuite.com, and we have a Discord where we answer questions. And yeah, I mean, I make about 30% APR on my rentals, which is pretty nice for my rentals. And rather than I was making about 37% managing that manually, but I was spending so many hours on it. But just save it. Now I spend literally no time on my rentals. like managing them. I haven't manually managed a rental since we released, honestly. So yeah, that's SplinterSuite, and that's who I am, just player that created something like that.
Oh,
Good
you're more
job.
than that, Hukk. You're more than that, man. Like you know, you went to what? You learned how to read up on companies. You've done marketing. You've done what else? Like you know,
I mean,
what you're
yeah,
telling me.
I went to school for accounting and finance. Like I'm very big into like very interested in markets. I've been my freshman year accounting class, like we had to pick a subject, like an advanced topic to like try and figure out how we would account for it. I chose Bitcoin back in literally 2011. Like there was no laws, as I figured out. Like I just had to pretend, like make up how I think it should be accounted for based on my one semester of accounting classes, which is interesting. But like I've been involved in crypto, like I've been following crypto for pretty much since its inception. I invested in Bitcoin in 2015 and Ethereum like in 2016 when that came out. But so didn't cash out during the bull run, unfortunately, in 2017 and 18. Still was very involved in that. Like I was a bag holder of Bounty. I don't know if anyone remembers that coin, but like that was a pretty big, like that was, oh, you have a software problem or just any problem in general, you can just create a bounty online. Someone can do it and they get paid however many bounty tokens. That like absolutely, like I thought it was a great idea. Literally within 24 hours of buying it on KuCoin, it was down 85%. And that was like the biggest rug pull I've ever like firsthand experienced at that point. But like, I mean, it was, and that's like what really opened my eyes to like how big people can actually just like get destroyed by pumps and dumps in crypto. And it's all like there's very few laws compared to like securities laws, which is what you learn about like in accounting is pretty much just the evolution of regulation from the Great Depression onwards. And so I've just been like my entire life has been, or like entire adult life, I guess, has been just learning about markets and getting involved in crypto and experiencing firsthand the difference between the stock market and the crypto markets. And like I'm not a fan of like government regulation, but it's definitely necessary in some circumstances. And that's like always been the back of my mind is like how regulation once some big fraud happens, which we're in the middle of that right now, like FTX blowing up. This is going to be the event that's going to mark like regulators to actually really step in and do something to start regulating crypto, which is what scares me, but it's also necessary to happen.
You see that as an angle though for Hegelian, like a problem reaction solution. Like in Australia at the moment, we've just had like one massive hack after another, and like government services like Medicare, big banks, post office. So it's all over the news, of course. Oh, we've been hacked. Oh, all your information is now in the dark web, blah, 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 blah. And now, of course, the government wants to step in and make a digital ID to protect us from the hackers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's totally ridiculous. Like we have social security numbers in the United States.
Which is actually here's a, sorry, I follow John Levi on YouTube and Odyssey. He's mainly into Tartaria and alternate ancient history, but he also touches a bit on some of his alt channels on finances and stuff. And he discovered that the social security number is actually your bank account number with the Fed or Reserve. All you need is the routing number in front of that. And he showed examples where he's gone online and he's made purchases using his funds in his Federal Reserve account. All he needed to do was find his routing number, and your social security number is the rest of that. So I'll just throw that out there. And he showed receipts of actual, he bought 4 new tires for his truck. The first time he did it though, he used it through PayPal or something like that, some connecting service. And after he received the goods, he says like this, the link to that service is no longer available. So as soon as he made the purchase, they were onto it pretty quick. But he's made purchases using other online. Here comes Matt, using other online purchases and so forth. So that's something you might want to look into there, man. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
Yeah, totally fine. I mean, I was about to say, like, I've had my social security number stolen, like from the IRS, like, or like where you file your taxes and pay your taxes to the US government. Like, I have to receive a code in the mail each year now because like my social security number got hacked. So I have to like enter that code in with it or else they won't accept my return. So because like I got hacked, and apparently that's something that's happening to quite a few people. Like a lot of American social security numbers are compromised, and I'm pretty sure it's from like that one credit. There's like a big credit card, or like not credit. I think it was ADP. Pretty sure ADP got hacked, which is like they deal with all of the wages for like wage reporting to the government. So like almost every single American's like really private information is on that, and they got hacked 3 or 4 years ago, and all of that information is now on the dark web. So it's pretty bad.
And have you had the outcry yet? Oh, please, government, do something to help us. Protect us.
I mean,
give us more tyranny. Give us more tyranny to protect us.
I mean, people still want like vaccine mandates and mask mandates, like in the United States. So you're always going to get that, no matter how badly the government messes up. When people are in danger, some people are going to like turn to themselves. Some people will turn to other people, and some will just turn to the government. It's just how humans end up working out, it seems.
That's the problem, isn't it, with democracy? I mean, democracy being the majority, if you've got like 30% who just don't give a fuck about anything and never will, then all you need is the other 75%. So split that in half, 35 and 35. You only need to control 36% of the population through brainwashing, through the experts said this. The experts, trust the science and the pancake theory. All the mushroom cloud. All the media mantras. You've only got to control 36%, and you have a dictatorship.
Even in the United States, it's less than that, because you don't even need to control people. You just need to pit them against each other. So like you can just pit the Democrats and the Republicans against each other. And like those voters make up, like the people that are registered Democrat or Republican make up less than half of America. But like most of Americans, like a lot of Americans don't participate in voting. And so those people, like you don't need to do anything with them because they have no power in terms of like what they can change. And then you just turn a much smaller percentage. You can just get one group to hate the other. And now all of a sudden you're enacting control over everyone, while only having to actually do anything to a small percent of the population.
And
hey,
on
Matt.
that note, Matt, hey Matt, how's it going?
Hey Matt.
Hey guys, sorry I'm late.
Hey dude.
That's all
Joining in
good.
the middle there. Yeah, it was funny here. It was funny here in Australia with the lockdown talk when the Rona was all the fashion, and they said, "Oh, look, if you're not a doctor, then you shouldn't have an opinion on whether we lock down or not." And I thought, why not economists? Why don't they get a say? Why is it just epidemiologists? Why not economists who say, well, this is going to destroy our economy? Or education experts who say, well, actually, if kids can't get out there, there's going to be more abuse at home. There's going to be spousal abuse. There's going to be negative. Why did we say these are the narrow? There's this very narrow field of very tightly controlled, regulated experts. They're the ones that we're listening to. And if you're not one of them, then you don't get a say at all. My personal take is that we need experts. I think there should be a university qualification. You go and you prove that you understand the way the incentive structures work, the way regulatory capture works, the way silencing political opposition works. And when you understand who gets to be an expert and what they get to say and why and who's pulling the levers of control, then you get to be called an expert. When they say, oh, we need to listen to the experts, you can say, well, actually, I'm an expert on experts, and we don't need to listen to these experts.
Yeah. See, that's what's crazy is like in accounting, you pretty much learn how financial incentives cause every single fraud or like bad externality on humanity. And so like it's not, you don't need like accountants when they're auditing a company, like accounts auditing a tech company. I know a ton of CPAs, none of them know jack shit about software and account, like, but they audit those companies not to like understand the software. They're looking for financial conflicts of interest and like understand the concepts like of, oh, if we have, say, Fauci in charge of giving grants to all of these people, and he's also like, and someone he gives a grant to was involved like in research that now might be the cause of a pandemic. Like it's never proven, but that's a red flag if he's funding any grants into coronavirus, like messing with them in the Wuhan lab or in UNC. Like he's not the person that is credible to speak about the origin of this virus because he inherently has a financial conflict of interest. That type of like thinking is what like no expert in that field is going to out themselves or their peers, because how like science funding works is you're not usually getting that from a private company. Like most of these scientists are working for the government and rely on these government grants. So you don't bite the hand that feeds you. And like understanding how all of that works it doesn't take a genius to see that or understand it. But people gaslight everyone into being like, no, you have to understand, like, if you don't have a PhD in whatever bullshit, like, you're not an expert in the field. When the best, like, most of the best, like, advances in medicine were caused by people that were completely shunned from the medical field. And that's true with almost every single field, is every pioneer is thought of as crazy and shunned. And then eventually they're proven right. And so like this whole, oh, you have to be in like taught our specific way of thinking to like be credible is just total bullshit. And there's just no appreciation for like having multiple skill sets, which is like what all of the old like Greeks and stuff that people used to look up to. They weren't just experts in one thing. They were like, and not even just Greek, like Da Vinci wasn't just an expert in one thing. He was a master in like 4 or 5 different fields, which is what allowed him to have so many unique perspectives and end up inventing a ton of stuff that no one else was able to think of at that time. It's because he's coming in specifically without the bias that you get from like just being engulfed in one environment for most of your life. And so, yeah, I completely agree that people like need, you essentially you need to have expertise outside of the industry to really be able to get like a clear understanding of what biases these people are under and how like that might then affect everything they're reporting to you and ultimately what they do. So yeah, I completely agree with you, Matt.
Yeah. So rerouting back onto SplinterSuite. I mean, I love it. Honestly, I could go on for do a 4 or 5 hour episode and all this stuff. It's so easy. When you can see, you can see, you know, and it's just it astounds me how many people can't. But you get it, yeah. It's just like Geo got me a while back onto Splex, because like you were talking earlier about how much time you were spending to get that extra 7% return on your rentals.
Yeah.
Well, I was not having much success at all with the manual, simply because I just, you know, Siebes going in every day and checking, and so I might pop in every 5 or 6 days, and then the stuff just wasn't renting, and I just like it defeated the whole purpose of me of trying to make money renting out. So when Geo got me onto Splex, I had no idea there were these kinds of apps. So I've got one of my alt accounts now is just purely for rental. All my spares, any BCXs that I'm leveling up that aren't quite enough to make the next level on my playing account, it all goes into that account, and I just forget about them. And you know, every day I get my invoice from Splex, and they go, "Oh, well, I've made, you know, I'm making anything from 200 to 600 deck a day." You know, I'm not like like a baron or rental baron or anything, but like that's 300-400 deck a day more than I was making before I started using. So yeah, good. You know, the fact that you identified that this market exists. Now there's like a lot of people would have identified the market. I didn't even identify that there was a market. I didn't even know it was possible to do this kind of thing. So there's people like myself who just, you know, no idea. Then there's the people who go, wow, we really need something to do this. And then there's that even smaller percent who recognize the need and have the skills and do it like you've done. So yeah, what makes, like, you know, what's so good about SplinterSuite? Like, here, you know, here's your opportunity. Like,
so
pimp your shit, man.
So I've always heard, like, and I've seen people talk about like how much RC you need for Splex, like ungodly amounts of RC for Splex. To give you perspective, what the largest like amount of cards we have on account is this account called Tame Cards. Has about 115,000 cards that we manage on it, and it's never had more than 1,000, like never had 1,000 RC on it, or 1,000 high power on it. Like never more, like never even 1,000 on it. And we've never run into like any big hive issues, like RC issues with it, except what the first 2 days after the hard fork they did, that like massively increased hive costs for everybody. And it died down within about 5 days. That was the only period in which that account ever ran into RC issues. And so like a big advantage is just way more efficient use of your RC, like than you would with Splex, for example. Another is they charge a 10% fee, I'm pretty sure. We charge a 2.5% fee, and these are free. So we give you a free 15 days, and then it's 2.5% fee on only what the bot earns. So like if you went in and manually managed some of those rentals for a few days, none of that would count towards like your your bill that you get. And we also only bill every 15 days. That, like, you only have to pay an invoice every 15 days. We give you, I believe it's 5 days after we bill you. If you haven't paid it off in 5 days, then we lock your account until you pay like your previous invoice. So like, I mean, the fact you have, like, you get an invoice from Splex every day, like, we want to make it so that it's not like inconvenient. And like, if you message us like, oh, I'm going on vacation, like I won't be able to pay this invoice until like after I get back from vacation, we'll obviously work with you and just like keep it unlocked so it can keep running. Like, so I would say that those, and I mean, our rental performance is extremely good. I've looked at like, we have around, I'd say 10 to 15% better returns than Splex. It's not like a crazy difference between us, but then when you factor in the 7.5% difference in the fee, like that's going to all add up, especially if you're compounding that back into the game and just reinvesting that in cards. So that's what I would say. And I mean, just the ability to like shut it off and you have full control over it and like the setup, like you pretty much can just download it and run it essentially without changing any settings. But like the most settings, like the longest I've ever spent on settings and I've ever heard is like 30 seconds. Whereas like Splex's UI is pretty boggled down with a lot more stuff than just the rental bot. SplinterSuite, we are just focusing purely on the rental bot and make it like a super easy to use interface. And that's it. Like you don't have, it's not going to try and confuse you with anything else or all of these like aggressive versus conservative settings. No, it's just set and forget is like what we want it to be, extraordinarily easy and simple, that any single person that knows how to read and can use a mouse can set it up in around a minute at most. Like
that's simplicity. It works for me because I mean, Splex has had so many changes and alterations. The main screen UI And I kept using the old one as long as possible until the warning came up and said, no, you can't use this one anymore. Because I'm slow to learn new stuff. And when I look at, the actual user interface of a system, I get a little bit like FUD, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
And it's very, what might be intuitive to a lot of people isn't intuitive to me. And after they changed, like I spent a lot of time in the Splex server, just like, and credits to them, they were really quick, they were really helpful. But I don't want to keep doing that every time there's a change or something.
Yeah, man.
And so now some people might love that because there's other things. They've got Archmage bot, they've got a few things going, and they've got BCX combining. They've got some bit playing an account, renting but it's just way more than I need. I'm like you said, like just set and forget. No, that's I want. that's me.
I think that 15 days is really good because I know the daily billing is a real bugbear for some people, and obviously we don't want to be trusting these services with our active key, but then obviously posting key can only do so much. So that makes sense. But if you're not only charging less but also willing to go substantially longer, 15 days is great. That's a whole season that Can somebody prepay? Could I, if I've got my account and I say, well, look, I'm going away for a month, I'm gonna pay extra. Does it work that way? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, you can do that. We just don't like if we would be fine with you not paying and then coming back from your month and also paying, but like prepay is totally fine as well. Like whatever is convenient for people, we want to make everything as convenient as possible. And also you mentioned the posting key. So I guess the other advantage I forgot to talk about is last week we released a new update where you don't even need a posting key anymore. You actually delegate posting authority to the SplinterSuite account. And so now like there's no posting key at all that you're entering. And you just log in, like you press a checkbox that says log in with delegation authority, and it runs exactly the same way and doesn't use your posting key whatsoever to ultimately rent your cards out and manage them. So yeah, I guess that's another advantage that we have.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see
I'm using
competition in this space.
Oh yeah, competition is extremely key. I mean, when we saw Splex's 20% rental fee, we were like, well, we can definitely like launch because like that's a ridiculous fee, I think, in my opinion. I still think even 10% is a lot, but I think 10% before they got the market, like Splinterlands approved by the market, so they get that 5% market fee that Peak Monsters does if you like rent on their website. Once they got that, I think that now they're making 15% rather than 10% on your stuff. Seemed like that's still a pretty high fee, but they also are offering a lot of other services and probably subsidizing that with that type of fee that they're charging.
And this is the reason why I made the move away from Splex services and even Archmage, even though I couldn't get that shit working anyway. I still got the token, but it's doing absolutely nothing. Nah, seriously, so many hoops and bounds. I was like, nah, I'm going Xbot, pay once. I like Sylar, he's a cool guy. And then I met you, and I'm like, you know what? I might as well just support the guys who are just upcoming, because the opportunities there are better. Right?
Yeah.
It's just true. It's just how it is, right? And so let's say Splex and all that, the guys have already grown, and yet they're still implementing these high fees when they got thousands of users, like majority of the market share. And they could just, okay, thanks guys, you've built us up now. Let's ease off a bit with the fees, right? But nah, more. I'm like, nah, I want to get away from that. So here I am, man. I just spoke to you. I was like, man, I'd rather support your product. So
yeah.
That's
no, I mean,
how life out about it.
And that's how competition works. Like if you have a monopoly, like people can't really do anything about it. They have to pay like the higher fees.
Yeah.
Second, you have competition, then like those people that used to have that monopoly now all of a sudden need to lower their prices. So like
exactly,
happy to like help make it like people keep more of their own money and just have like essentially a check on power, because you don't ever want
Exactly.
any third party to get too much power and like influence
No.
over the Splinterlands like interface.
Exactly.
And yeah, so
Yeah.
all
And I
works
don't like
out.
Monopoly, but I only like the game Monopoly. You know, I don't like actual real monopolies. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't think anyone likes monopolies.
The only real way to maintain one is to act like you don't have one, or to get the government on your side and have them
Exactly.
make sure that your competitors get shut down. So
It might make
yeah,
competition
and
illegal, like in the war on drugs.
exactly.
or like
No, it's great.
FTX and
that sounds
CZ
good.
from Binance.
Yeah.
I'll definitely be having a
Huh?
look then at SplinterSuite. That sounds good. I like what I'm hearing, particularly things that things like the delegating rental authority or delegating that authority instead of requiring the posting key. Things like that tell the customer about the service. It tells us that you're looking to make changes to secure accounts in maybe a direction other people aren't going as well, that this is a priority for you guys. And if somebody has a large account, or particularly if somebody's hesitant to share a posting key because they don't know what's going to be edited or deleted or said on their Hive page, on their Hive blog, then yeah, that tells us, I guess, where your priorities are, and that's great.
Yeah. No, and not only do you have to worry about like whatever third party service you give your keys to, you'd have to worry about that service like database getting hacked, for example. And then even if they're not doing it maliciously, the hacker can use your keys maliciously. So like
or they could sell the service. They could sell the service to somebody else.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
happens all the time. You know, I trust these owners. And they go, I'm sick of this, I'm going to cash out. They sell to somebody who's, now got all your info. I'm sure there's a lot of DMs being read by Elon Musk that were written by people who didn't ever imagine that Elon Musk would be reading their DMs.
100%. Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, you can't really delete those either. Like, and I mean, changing your Hive. I've never changed like my Hive keys, but one of my friends did, and it seemed like it's not a fun process to go through, which like you're probably going to be doing that once you realize your posting keys are out there and have been used already, or your, God forbid, your active keys. Like, so yeah, it's definitely a good thing that, I mean, I feel like more people should do it, but also Splinterlands, like they've been pretty far behind in terms, like this authority delegation stuff has been out for a while, but pretty much only the rental services are the ones that can use any type of authority delegation so far, because a lot of like the in-game actions that you either need a posting key or an active key for, when you delegate that authority, it actually just like those actions just don't work. But thank God, like all of the actions we need for managing your rentals actually work through delegating this posting authority. So we're able to ultimately use it to implement this feature. But it is like something that a lot of not a lot, but I've seen like around 5 other people consistently hound Splinterlands developers to try and like make it so more like you can essentially would never need any third-party app to give your posting or active key if like they make these changes to just allow you with authority delegation to do what you were able to do with if you have those keys.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It is actually relatively easy. I just went through on my alt account after I sent all of my spare cards, which include a lot of A's and B's and golds, over to my alt account for renting purposes. I actually went and changed my Hive keys, and it's a really, really easy process now.
Okay.
Yeah, like you literally just like click on, or you do need your master password, of course.
Oh yeah.
But you put that in, and it gives you all of your new keys. You can take a screenshot before I'm super screenshot, then save, make sure it's saved, get it off my hard drive, then delete the screenshot, right? Because you don't want to fuck up and not change your keys and not have your keys, right?
Yeah.
So, but it's a really, really simple process to do it in Hive.
Okay.
In the peaked interface, at least.
Okay.
Really, really easy to change your keys. Yeah.
I know at one point Jones made like PC Jones, who like runs one of the like large bot like open source things. He made like a script that would do it on like mass, and but like I know that changing, or like before, I guess when he made that, I guess it was harder to change your keys. That's awesome, like that it's not that hard anymore, and it sounds pretty chill. That's always a big benefit, or like a good thing if things are developing to be just easier to use and do.
Yeah.
I think
I
I
remember
actually
Yabba
need to do
saying-
that soon.
Yabba saying
I've never
a while
changed it.
ago,
Next time you come
he said it
over,
a few
we'll do that.
he said it a few times. He wants to have a setup in Keychain where you can literally just type in another account name and tell Keychain what level of trust you want to have for that particular account. So I can go in there and pick SplinterSuite account or whatever the account name is, and then just say authority to delegate cards on my behalf, and that's it.
Yeah.
And so instead of dealing with keys or anything like that, so Keychain just handles it all until revoked. But that's, who knows how far off that is. I think that was 18 months ago. He mentioned wanting to do that. Again, pace of development, I guess. Everything's somewhere on the priority list.
All right. So on that then, I guess for those watching who are curious about your app, Hukk, do you want to maybe share your screen and just show some of the features of your app?
So this is the SplinterSuite application. It's the same as like this front page. This dashboard is literally never changed since we've released it. Just looks exactly like this, but this shows like how much deck you earned each day of the week for the past 7 days. And you get like your daily deck. It like this percentage compares your daily deck right now to what you got yesterday. For the week, like I'm up 40% in my rentals compared to last week. It's normal, like when you go from mid-season towards the later end of the season, rentals spike. Then like the last month, like this month is 4% down from last month. Shows like your RC and your deck. And then this is the settings tab. And this is literally the maximum settings you can do. So this is really the only one that like is something everyone should change, in my opinion. It's defaults to 1, so that means like our whole bot loop will run once, and then it won't run again for another 24 hours unless you hit stop and then start again. But this time, it like when you have it at 24, it just runs the loop once every single hour and does its thing. And to run a loop, you hit, or just like you were talking about deactivating all your cards on Splex, I just did that by hitting the stop button right there. And then you just hit the start, and then it'll run. This normally takes about 1 to 3 minutes. Like the largest whale we have, it can take up to 5 minutes, but it'll just do its thing. It's just running right now. And once this appears fully red, then it's just finished its loop, and it'll just redo that again in another hour. For billing, this account, I have all of my accounts, I have invoices turned, like I don't bill myself like my own account, but your invoice would show up here with like your account name, the due date, how much it is, and if you paid it off or not. And you would just hit a button here that says like, oh, I paid it off. We have instructions on how you, like with screenshots here of how you pay your bill. Essentially just send the deck to SplinterSuite, and then you mark your invoice as paid in the table above. And then we have like something where it'll check to make sure we actually got that payment for what you owed in the SplinterSuite account, and then you're good to go. And the logins, so yeah, you can see my bot. It's already ran its loop once. It looks like it listed 3 cards, and I'm sure it did other things. That's one thing that I want to improve, is like show you exactly what it did on its most recent run. And then to log out, so this is the login screen. So this is what I was talking about before with the login with the authority delegation. Since I have posting key authority delegated to SplinterSuite, I can just hit login with authority delegation, and boom, it logs me in. If I didn't have that, then it would throw an error. Or you can click, and if you need instructions on how to do like delegate posting authority, you click the link and you go to my blog post using SplinterSuite without a posting key that I posted 4 days ago when we launched this. That
It's real simple.
I tried to make it as clear as possible. Like having these red circles describing every exact step you need to do, as well as like showing you how you would delete it by just clicking that X on peak D. And yeah, so that's pretty much as complicated as like if you wanted to log in with your posting key, you can put your posting key in there and you just hit login and keep this unchecked. But this is as simple as as SplinterSuite gets, like, or sorry, as complex as it gets. Like, you really don't have to do anything besides just really change that number and you're good to go. It is just that simple.
Yeah.
So that's, yeah, we try and we plan on keeping it pretty much that simple forever. Like, it's the simplicity of that whole process has not changed since launch. All that has is just how that bot loop runs to have like more, like use less RC and also just get better rental returns for you. That's the only thing that's really changing.
Yeah. No, I'm a huge fan of simplicity and just the Zen sort of take on things. I remember, like, you know, back in the early days of the internet, back in the 90s, the #1 search engine was Yahoo, you know, before Google came out. And just before Google came out, it got to the point you went to Yahoo and it was just a page full of crap with news and weather, like just, and then there's this little tiny little search box in the middle of the screen, which is a page of crap. And then when Google came out, it's just a big white page with a search box in the middle. It's like, ah, you know, it was just,
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, simplicity is king. Like, when you develop software, it's super hard to anticipate the ways in which users are going to use it, like not properly. Like, people usually have an idea of how an app should be used, and then a lot of bugs end up happening when you're like, I never would think a user would do those set of actions in a row that would then cause this other issue. There's no way you can really mess this up. Like, it's just keeping it as simple as possible and pressing 2 buttons and changing 1 setting if you want to. Like, that is our goal, to make it, like, simplicity is so much better for everybody than any sort of complexity. Just abstract that all away from the user, which is exactly what we're always focused on. We don't want the user to think at all about this. Just the hardest thing you have to do is pay your invoice like every 15 days.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And is there an option like to turn individual cards on and off?
So that is something we're working on. Is we're trying to like think of the best way possible to specifically shut off individual card UIDs. Right now, these minimum levels in CP was like our kind of like workaround. So it's not individual, but you can do it en masse. So like, if you say, I don't want to like list any Chaos Legion commons, well, that are level 1, all of them have 5 CP. So this is never like, this number here will ignore every single card that's a common that doesn't have at least 100 CP.
Yeah.
Then you can also, in addition to that, you can also mix and match levels here. So you can decide to have like a combination of your levels for gold. Like, say you want to have your minimum CP be 20 here, but you also don't want to rent out cards that are level 3. You can just set, or unless they're level 5 or level 6 or higher, you can just set this to 5, because otherwise those cards would get listed to this minimum CP like setting here. So that's kind of how we like build it originally, but we definitely are thinking of thinking of ways to add specifically not listing individual card UIDs. It's just figuring out the easiest way for the user to do that is what we're thinking of.
Because the usage I'm thinking of is like with end of focus and end of season, when I get my cards, I might have enough cards now to put one of my rentals up a level. So if he's level 4, I've now got enough cards to up him to level 5. I just need to stop that card renting.
Yeah.
So that I can actually, because you can't level up a card while it's renting, obviously.
Yeah.
So That's the use I'm thinking of, is like I need to turn that card off being rented so that I can level it up.
Yeah, no, that is definitely a feature we have been talking about for a while, and we started brainstorming on it literally right after we released this rental authority update, which was 4 days ago. So it's coming, but it's not in existence yet. We prioritize getting the delegation out first.
And this is a new service as well, right? This hasn't been around for that long. So, yeah.
So in its current format, how would I do that? If I mean, let's just use the example, like the blood maker. I can now put my gold foil blood maker on my rental account up a level. So how would I have to remove that card from my account and send it to like my main account? Or how would I do that?
So say you had a couple blood makers on your account. The easiest way I can think of it is to use this minimum level. Like say you have a level 5 blood maker, just turn this to 6. It will stop like managing the rentals of your cards that are gold foil commons that are level 5 and below. That's like so it'll affect all your other rentals as well. But that's the way you would do it right now. Like your other rentals that are gold common cards below that level, it would stop managing them as well. That's really the only plausible. Or you could just hit the stop bot button and just stop running it can't manually cancel them and then start running it again once you actually combine it. Those are
I have another way.
Ways. Oh, what's your other way actually?
Probably what Matt's about to say. I stop it actually on like on the Peak Monsters interface, and then I change the refresh limit per hour to 1, and I just set myself like a small reminder, like, hey, like this is the card I want to combine, at this time, and yeah,
that's
what I do.
Yeah, you lost me, Gio.
So I would just end the rental individually, either on the Splinterlands interface or Peak Monsters.
Yeah,
and then that's it. I'll just wait. And then, I'll just set myself a reminder, and then I'll go in and combine. But yeah, like you still got to. It's still.
Yeah, so I think what he's specifically talking about is like if I wanted to combine this Chaos Knight, I would go in here. I would hit.
renting.
Yeah, stop renting, and then I would see how much time it has to expire. And so once it has like an hour left or something, then you just come in here, hit stop bot, and turn it back on once that rental is off and you have it combined.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's definitely
because you wouldn't want the bot to put it straight back on the rental again as soon as it's come off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, no,
anyone else got any questions for Hukk while we're on the bot?
No, I like what I'm seeing. I think there's a lot of possibilities there, and like you say, the simplicity of it is always a winner. There's going to be people who are drawn to the complexity, and there's going to be people who are drawn to the simplicity. So that's fine. There's plenty of room in the marketplace. I was thinking before what you were saying, Bob, with the search engines. Google was clean and nothing, and then on paper you would think that the site that offers the most would be the one that people want, and the site that offers the least would be the one that they avoid. So it reminds me of Henry Ford. He said, if I'd have asked my customers what they wanted, they'd have asked for a faster horse.
Yeah, no, and Steve Jobs also had something like some similar quote to that too about the iPhone. Like the customers never would have told them they wanted an iPhone, and clearly everyone did.
Yep, with just one button, and yeah, exactly. Yep, no, I'm enthused. I'm looking at, while we're talking about rentals, I'm looking at the rewards cards, and Pellicor Bandit just passed 87% printed. I've been stocking up on Pellicor Conjurers. They're just about to hit 87%. Just to throw in my rental account, I pushed the price of those up from like $16 up to $22 for a max for the gold foil Pellicor Conjurer. So I'm just whenever I can buying it. I think I've got like 20 of them now in my rental account. But I think these rewards cards, unlike packs, there's always going to be packs out there circulating. So you can never say, right, these are all in existence. But these reward cards, once that number hits 100%, that's it. No more are getting made. But a lot of the guys who have them aren't going to give them up cheap. So there's going to be new people arriving going, I love this card. What can I do? So I'd recommend anybody watching, have a look at some of these cards and think, what rule sets are they applicable in? So for me, Pellicore Conjurer is a winner because Little League, yes, no worries. Lost Legendaries, Common and Rares, yes, no worries. Of the 4 abilities, he's got there's 3 different focuses represented by the 4 different abilities. All sorts of different, I guess, avenues that say, right, which card do I really want to stock up on? Also, you want to do this slowly, so otherwise you push up the price and just make it more difficult for yourself. And if anybody knows that, it's me with the Flesh Golem experience. But yeah, so that's I guess my warning to everyone. There's even the Gargoyle Devil, Naga Assassin, they're around that 75% print rate now. And even the newer ones, Countess Sinash, Venator Kinjo and Jared Scar, they're coming up on 14% each. So they're getting a fair way into their run. But the big one is Pellicore Bandit, just past 87%. So get in there if you want it. If you want it as rental stock, stock up now while they're still very, very cheap. And then they can sit there, just pay you dividends, casual passive income for years to come.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought like 78 BCX of gold Pellicore Conjurers like 2 or 3 weeks ago, but I saw like the number get up to like 70% printed, and there's some number around there, and then I bought like 30 of the bandits. But I've been buying a lot of gold Urases because I'm a big fan of that card. That's like, I got like right when I started, I got like my first chest was a Sandworm, and then Sandworms printed like that was they weren't out and printing the next day, and I really regret like not getting more Sandworms.
Yeah,
and like
Sandworm, what a beast.
Yeah, Uraeus to me is like just essentially a lower mana version of that. That's just an essential card in my opinion that you can play in so many instances.
And Hukk, if you're looking for stop screen share, it's right at the very top in red.
Okay. Oh yeah, that makes sense.
I figured that because it's not obvious when you're like looking for it. I thought we let a few people know on that. So should we get into some battling?
I think we should.
So where do you play at on the leagues, Hukk?
I'm usually in Gold League until like the last 3 or 4 days of the season. It normally depends on like when the last brawl of the season is, because I spend around like 6,000 to 7,000 deck on my main account for brawls, and so like when I rent super hard, I'm usually gonna end up like grinding pretty hard and ranked as well. So like I pushed up to Diamond 2 days ago, I think. Now I'm just in like end the season in Diamond, but I usually spend almost most of the season in Gold right now. But once I get Lux tomorrow, ideally, like then I'll probably be playing mostly Diamond, because I own like a lot of monsters, but I own very few summoners. So having Lux is like, I mean, it was like the ideal card for me to get, because you can play that summoner in almost every rule set. Like, so I'm looking forward to that, but I'm mainly Gold for right now.
All right. So if you send a challenge to Matt, then would you be up for a Diamond level, or?
Oh yeah.
Just thinking, someone that can actually battle you in Diamond with the deck to do it, because we usually pull Matt down to. It was Gio says pull the whale into the shallow waters. We pull him down to gold, and he hasn't got all his abilities. So yeah, it'd be good to see him in his natural habitat with all his abilities and buffs.
I'm sitting here awaiting challenges. I've been called out. I've been singled out. Just trying to enjoy my Thursday morning. The kids are at school. Let's relax, have a cup of coffee and a chat. But no, it's coming for you. All right, let's do it.
And we found out last week. We had no idea. We had B-Jangles and Waskell Wabbit on the show, and they just dropped this bombshell that you can now include gladiators in gladiator cards in the challenges. It was like, what?
Oh, wait, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's going to make this more interesting because I have some nice gladiators.
I don't really have any gladiators at all. You should definitely tick that button if you want to win.
Matt Two Cora's Clark.
I need that last Cora. I got to get it to level 3.
Oh man.
Yeah, Cure is amazing. Hold on, I'm just renting a deck real quick.
Oh, this is going to be nasty.
Oh shit. Hopefully you get the rules set.
Yeah, I really hope that I get a cerebral set. I mean, like, with gladiators, that changes everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
apparently that setting had been out for 2 weeks and we just had no idea. It was like, we're just doing the challenge and B Jangles is like, oh, with or without gladiators. And Matt and I were both like, what?
Yeah, that's crazy.
It really throws a stunner.
Yeah, I mean, without gladiators, like, my guild would do so much worse in arenas. Like, it's crazy how good gladiator cards are. Or not arenas, brawls. Not playing WoW. Okay. And here we go. Matt Clark. Diamond. Okay. Just set the challenge.
All right.
Accept. Let's see. So we have Earthquake, Stampede, 44 mana. Elements, we have everything except water and life. So fire, earth, death, and dragon all available. 44 mana, Earthquake, Stampede. Does anyone?
I'd be going earth for my for Grund. Whenever Stampede, I like either Demon Shark for water or Grund for earth. I like my go-tos. But none of them
Bob,
fly.
If we do a battle, if I'm involved in a battle, I will send you the link to record it because you know how it goes all glitchy. For me?
Well, I'll screen share for our battle.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Oh, but unless if you play Hukk.
Yeah.
He can screen share, so it's all good.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely can screen share.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Forgot about that. And next week we have Sylar on, the ex-bot dev.
Did you guys know each other, Hukk? You and Sylar, or?
No, I found him just I was searching up the Splinterlands. Like, I'd check the subreddit for Splinterlands like every 2 or 3 days, and I just saw like that Xbot post like posted like 5 hours ago, and I was like, okay, I'll look into this. Like, join the Discord, and that's ultimately how I met Gio.
Gio,
in that Discord. I'm pretty sure the conversation you were talking about was actually Archmage, like the fee structure of Xbot versus Archmage, and that's how we got into talking. It was just, I mean,
it was
just discussing those fees.
Yeah, it was through that, and then we went into like all this the breakdowns of like the companies and how you assess them and stuff like that, and you're blowing my mind of how intricate it is to like evaluate them and what certain people look out for, right? To audit, to audit and assess the company.
Yeah.
And he went into that, Bob, and it was just my mind blown because I just know everything in like a layman's term sort of way.
Yeah.
But yeah, the way he was explaining it to me was just like, what? I didn't even know that. So it's just like opened my eyes up a bit, you know. It's really cool. That's why you know I thought he'd be essential here as well. Like we can learn so much.
Absolutely. So you guys submitted?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're ready to go. Did you want to screen share for us, Hukk?
That's perfect.
A little
That's
more.
perfect.
Okay.
We'll just leave it like that.
Oh, good. So I love Grenadier too much in Earthquake, summoned by Yasik. because snare blasts and he wrecks, he strips all the flying off the back row.
Yeah,
So I'm too I'm too obsessed with Grenadier in a Yasik team for an Earthquake rule set, because it's amazing if I get a couple of flyers in there, just how readily he can strip off wings off everybody, and then the Earthquake does the damage. I don't know how I'm going to go here though. Oh, there's a couple of lucky misses there.
Oh no. Oh yeah, I was nervous about putting the Carnage Titan. I was like, I don't know if he's gonna play Magic here.
Yeah.
I think that's the first
Yeah, it's
time
all
I've
good.
ever seen Spark Pixie make it to the end of a game.
Yeah, good game, Hukk. Yeah, I'm Grenadier for I can't get enough. If I see Earthquake, I'm like, oh, okay, can I play Yasik with Grenadier? For 3 mana, he does Scattershot, Blast, and Snare, and he's just every round he's just stripping wings off. There's no cleanse on the back row. So you go into an Earthquake match and you go, I've got this guy flying, this guy flying, this guy flying, and you rely on that with just that 1 3-mana card, because yeah, I love it. I'm sorry, I'll talk about Grenadier and Yasik Scattershot for the rest of the day if you let me. I'm a big fan, and I'm glad it paid off then, because it's great to have that example.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that the snare like blasts. I mean, that makes Scattershot so much better in that situation. That's actually really nice.
Yeah, when I first recognized that, I was like, yes, this is great. So yeah, feel free to steal, but big fan.
Oh
Good
yeah, I
game.
definitely will be. Yeah, game. I will definitely be using that strategy in the future.
Okay, we've got enough time on the Zoom clock for one more game. Gio, you invited Hukk onto the show. Why don't you send a challenge?
What's your in-game name?
It's the same Hack and Hukk.
Oh, is it?
Here, yeah, I'll type it to you on Discord. Just easy copy.
We've got it on the screen.
I have it here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I have it here. Yeah. My bad. Yeah. Here we go.
You get gold or diamond?
I'm fine with either.
We'll go
right.
Gold.
And the gladiator box is the pull down on the right to include gladiator.
Oh yeah, I didn't even see the I mean, we can do it or not.
Oh, okay, no gladiators.
I mean, I'm fine with either.
Yeah, it's just this account that I'm sending you an invite from isn't like ready for like the gladiator front. I don't have many, so yeah.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
44, no melee, and nothing misses.
True shot.
Okay. Yeah. Damn.
No melee. Well, that's got to be a quicks for sure.
I don't know now. Yeah.
Well, especially if you both quicks each other. Or it's actually your options are magic or range. So I guess some either you want to minus the magic in case your opponent goes magic, or you want to quicks him with a minus range in case he goes range. You can only do one or the other.
Oh, it's crazy. Like, what?
I've submitted.
Already?
Wow.
Brother. Oh,
Sweating beads. Yeah.
I mean, I find when I spend too much time on a team, like every time I brawl and like lose a game that I easily should have won, it's always because I like second guess my initial strategy. And
overthink.
Yeah, overthinking, you can just get in your head so much with that.
Yeah. It's like when the Melee Mayhem rule set came out. I was like, for ages, I used to just go heavy with the magic, Alric +1. Because Melee Mayhem, everyone's going to be going, using their melee cards that they don't normally get to use from the back row, lots of shields, so I'd go magic. But after, a couple of weeks of that, all of a sudden you go in and they've got silence. There we go. There we go.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So this is what we got.
playing the Pellicore Conjure.
You love your dragons, man, eh?
I do. I do. Well, I really like your summoner. And
Yeah, I'm
you
a
got
big fan
repair.
of Wraith. Yeah.
So you could have this, to be honest.
Resurrect, amplify.
You got too many Rift Watchers there, Gio. I'm not used to these cards. I'm looking at them going, what?
Yeah, no, I haven't gotten into Rift Watchers either. Like,
No, me neither.
Thought I'd give it a go, right? Like, it's a bit of fun.
Gio's
So,
got a good eye for new cards, for like he's, you know, he said, but like, no, Bob, you got to get this. You need to get this. And it's like, oh, I don't know. But look, and oh yeah, okay. He's good at picking like the niche for cards. Ever since he like first started playing, he's had a really good eye for new cards. So I follow
don't
his
do
lead
too
where I
bad.
can.
yeah.
I don't do too bad. Well, I'm happy to play it and to see how it rolls out. So I'm
Right.
just
Go
gonna
for
press
it.
Any predictions, Matt? What do you think?
I think Gio will take this.
Yeah, I think he's gonna win this.
I think that Tinderlock is scary to me. I've lost to it so many times.
I love Tinderlock. Yeah. And as if he's not badass enough, he's got last stand as well.
I think Hukk has this, man. Like, he's reflecting my damage. He's taking protection from shield. Like, I just don't see it.
It depends if the Bright Wings repairs that Renova right there. Like the shield.
Yeah,
on
no,
it.
I think he got this. I really do.
Yeah, now it's looking a little better.
Yeah.
I mean,
Conjurer
Yeah.
in first position against the Magic team is badass. With all
Yeah, I
that
mean, this
reflect.
is-
Yeah, dude.
This showing what Matt was
Yeah.
talking about with this card. I mean, this tank it's my favorite reward card by far out of
Yeah.
this set is Conjure.
Yeah, nah, this is a
Flawless
clean.
victory.
Oh,
Flawless.
clean.
There's the last stand, but you haven't done enough damage in the meantime.
Yeah.
To,
No,
Nah.
yeah.
No, and he won't break. Like he doesn't have Pierce, so it doesn't break through the
Uh,
shield anyways.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna keep it in. Oh man, good game.
Yep.
Nah,
Yeah,
really,
good
that
game.
Well
was
done.
solid.
Well done.
Solid. Good
Yeah.
one.
utterly wrecked him.
I believe.
Yeah, absolutely flawless.
All right.
Yeah,
I think
and-
I enjoyed you beating Gio more than I enjoyed me beating you, to be honest.
All right. So on
Hey,
that,
I'm
guys,
happy. I'm happy.
we've got less than 2 minutes on the Zoom clock. So anyone got any final words or wrap ups for?
I'd just like to
I'm
thank
just
you
happy-
guys. Oh, sorry, I was just gonna say I'd like to thank you all for having me on. It's great to talk and meet each one of you. I wish my camera was working so you guys would be able to see me, but I mean I'm totally down to come on at some point in the future. And yeah, thanks a lot for letting me talk about SplinterSuite on your podcast.
Absolutely. And anything
Thank
that
you.
major that comes up, like, you know, a new development or something like that, anything exciting, reach out to us. You know, you're in the server now. Reach out to us. We'll get you back on to talk about it.
Perfect.
So yeah, thanks so much for coming on. Do join us again next week for episode 47. As Gio mentioned earlier, we will have Sila on the show. And please like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. But comment. I reply to every comment. We love engagement on the show. The comment that generates the most engagement also gets 10% of the post rewards. So thanks for joining us on 46. See you on 47. I'm Boba Fett.
Awesome.
Peace out.
Take care.